Hi, my name's Sue Model. I'm the landscape arborist with the City of Stow. Today I'd like to tell you about our tree planting program that we have in the City of Stow. And there is a misconception that when a tree dies and we have to take it out between the curb and the sidewalk, that the city automatically replants a tree. That is not true. Unfortunately, there is a cost to the resident. And just to give you an idea, this tree was just planted this year. It's a 2-inch caliper, so it's measured about 6 inches from the ground up. And this is pretty much the size of tree that you're gonna get planted. And then what we do is we make sure we plant it in-house, and we make sure that we take the wire basket, the burlap, and the twine off. Because if we leave it in that wire basket as it grows, that root ball's trying to grow. I've actually seen trees get about 20 feet and actually fall over because the root system isn't able to grow. If you're wondering what the cost of the program is, I'll tell you. If it's going to be planted between the curb and sidewalk, it's only $125. So that includes, getting the tree, getting it planted, the cost of the water bag, the cost of the deer guard. The City of Stow actually filling the bag for 2 years. And then if you don't want it between the curb and sidewalk, there is an option to have it planted behind the sidewalk. That price is still the same, $125. The only difference is if it's behind the sidewalk, we ask the resident to fill it, but there still is a 1-year guarantee on the time the tree is planted, whether it's behind the sidewalk or in the sidewalk. And should you be active military or honorably discharged from the military, the price drops to $75 per tree. Part of the cost of planting the tree is the water bag. It actually goes around the tree and it zips, so it's on this back side. And then how we fill it is there's a hole here that you can put the hose down in, and you leave it run. It'll poof out, as you can see, and basically you'll get about 20 gallons of water in there. And the nice thing about this, you take the hose out, you walk away and let Mother Nature do the rest of it. There's holes on the bottom of this bag, so the idea is as the water's there, the gravity will push that water down into it, and where the root ball is, the water stays in that root ball, and it helps the roots regain and grow, so it'll make this tree nice and sturdy. You're probably wondering what this black is here. We call it a deer guard, and we put that on either now or earlier, and we just wrap it there because we do have a lot of deer here in Stow. And basically when they get the velvet on their horns, they start looking for smaller things where they can get to, and I've seen deer just decimate trees. As far as what tree goes back in, a lot of it depends on what's available in the nursery, but I take a look at how much room I have between the curb and sidewalk. I also have to call OOPS, which is the Ohio Utility Protection Service. I have to look for gas lines, your collector lines that come out of your house, if there's a water turn-off, water valve, how close I am to a driveway or to a corner. But this actually is a hedge maple. This one will get about 20 to 30 feet tall, about 20 feet wide, so it's going to stay kind of smaller. But you can see it's starting to cast enough shade right now, and it's going to do a really good job for us. Just kind of getting off the subject a little bit, if you were to plant a tree in your own yard, let's say it's in a backyard and you don't want to buy a water bag, there's another way that you can water. We almost all have extra 5-gallon buckets. You can take a drill bit, put 1/4-inch holes in the bottom of that. You can place, the bucket here, fill it with water. It'll do the same thing as the bag. It'll just gravity feed. So if you need to get 20 gallons to the tree, then you could use 4, or you could just take 1 5-gallon here, 1 there, 1 here, and 1 there. And it takes kind of the guesswork out of what you're doing. So one last thing I'd like to leave you with, in case you're still wondering, should I get a tree? Should I not get a tree? You know, what's in it for me? As I mentioned, this whole street used to have ash trees on it, and they were getting 20 to 30 feet tall. It was getting a nice canopy, getting a nice shade. The emerald ash borer came through, we had to cut them all out. My goal as a landscape arborist and knowing the different trees is to come back and not plant just one tree. And I want to just plant all hedge maples down here. I'm going to mix it up, so I'm looking at least 3 or 4 different trees on a street. That way, if heaven forbid, if another insect comes in and just decides to take out the hedge maples, I'm only losing a certain amount of them, and then I still have some sort of a canopy that's still growing. So I'm not going to go from a nice canopy helping all these property values, because trees will add value to your property, and then have to cut them all down and everybody goes, oh, you know, nothing is going on. So I'm trying to look for that variety, that diversity, so that one day you come home and go, where all my trees are on my street.